The Mob of the Dead Easter egg is widely considered to be one of the easiest main quests out of all of the Treyarch Zombies maps. To complete this Easter egg, the player needs to do the following steps. Step 1 is build and fly the plane 3 times. Step 2 is obtain the Hell's Retriever. Step 3, obtain the Silver Spoon. Step 4, obtain the Blundergat from the Warden's office. Step 5, the player has to input 4 3-digit numbers into the Citadel Tunnel's shock panels. Step 6 is to listen to some audio clips. Step 7 is to fly to the bridge while in Afterlife mode. And then Step 8 is to have the Weasel kill everyone, or have everyone kill the Weasel. In solo, the last 2 steps are not accessible since these require multiple players in order to complete. As such, the speedrunning community considers the solo Mob of the Dead Easter egg to end once the player finishes listening to all of the audio clips. Most of these steps are very well integrated into the regular gameplay of the map, as most players will generally obtain the Hell's Retriever as well as build and fly the plane multiple times, even in casual games. Since obtaining the Spoon and the Blundergat are very straightforward side quests, the bulk of this Easter egg is simply building and flying the plane 3 times. To make this Easter egg a little bit more difficult for me, I decided to add additional restrictions in order to complete the egg, because who doesn't love an arbitrary challenge? The primary restriction for this challenge would be that I would not be allowed to take damage of any kind. Obviously, this meant that I couldn't be hit by the zombies a single time, but it also meant that I needed to avoid other sources of damage, like explosive and fall damage. On paper, this doesn't seem too bad, but you need to remember that this map is very close quarters, and many of the fastest routes from place to place will result in the player taking fall damage. As a result, I needed to be very deliberate when planning out my path throughout the prison, as a zombie blocking my path or a large fall would essentially be a death sentence. But surely with the right perks and equipment, this wouldn't be a problem, right? Well, PhD Flopper is not on the map, so the only reliable way to prevent fall damage would be to take stairs in most scenarios. As for the zombies, a nice pack-a-punched weapon and some perks would nearly eliminate the issue of zombies blocking my path. But because I hate myself, I decided to add the extra restrictions that I would not be allowed to use the mystery box, perk machines, or the pack-a-punch machine. Furthermore, I also restricted the use of the Spoon and the Blundergat, since these weapons would also make this challenge considerably easier. So, besides the starting and wall weapons, the only tools I allowed myself to utilize were the Hell's Retriever and the Zombie Shield. While these 2 weapons are extremely useful, they did not completely eliminate the difficulty of this challenge like the Blundergat and Spoon do. The Retriever has to recharge after each use, and sometimes it really doesn't get that many kills. And the Shield will break after taking a certain amount of damage or killing a certain number of zombies. As such, I thought it was fair for me to use these weapons. With the rules in place, it was time to jump into the challenge. In a typical game of Mob of the Dead, I usually just hang out and spawn for 2 or so rounds, utilizing the double points drop in order to obtain a lot of points. This would allow me to open up a large portion of the map, obtain Juggernog, and start gathering the 5 plane parts. From there, I would start working on feeding the wolves. However, since perks were not allowed, I obviously did not need to buy Juggernog. This would allow me to open up more doors to access the Warden's Key and begin collecting the plane parts. What I soon realized was that my typical strategy would not work, as this would cause me to start feeding the wolves on round 3, where the zombies start moving faster than just a walking pace. Barring stupidity on my part, I could generally get the cell block wolf fed by the end of round 3, and the infirmary wolf fed by the end of round 4. From here I would be able to open up the roof, Warden's office, gondola, the showers, while also obtaining the Warden's Key. I could also get the sheets from the laundry machine, rack up some more points, and move on to the last wolf by the docks via the gondola. The problem was that I didn't have weapons which could kill quickly enough at round 5. The MP5 and M1927 just did not have the firepower to allow me to survive on round 5 while trying to feed the last wolf. Sure, I could just prioritize getting the plane parts and just use the last zombie of each round to feed the wolf at the end of each round, but I knew there was a better way of doing this. The solution I came up with was feeding the cell block wolf on round 2. I could then use the double points drop on round 3 to get enough points to open up their infirmary and feed the wolf on round 3. If I were lucky, I would still have a zombie or 2 at the end of the round, allowing me to acquire the key as well as open up the roof, gondola, showers, and warden's office. From here I could power up the laundry machine and acquire the sheets, while also accumulating enough points to travel to the docks via the gondola. By the end of round 4, I had the final wolf fed, as well as the best wall gun for this challenge, the M1927. The next step would be camping in the alley next to Building 64 to accumulate enough points to gain access to all the plane parts. Since the rigging, engine blocks, and oxygen tanks can all be made accessible using only 2 Afterlife mode activations, I could usually gain access to those at the end of a round. From here I would make my way to the roof, build the plane, and take flight to the Golden Gate Bridge. Once I began to have attempts where I had completed my second plane ride, I started to discover that I really needed to get all 3 plane rides finished before round 9 or round 10. On round 9, the Warden will spawn in. While he can be handled very easily when he spawns in on the bridge at the end of a round, because of the large open space that's available to the player, it is considerably more difficult to handle him when camping back in the prison when multiple zombies are still spawning in. This is especially true with unupgraded wall weapons, as dedicating time to killing him provides the zombies an opportunity to really close in on the player. On round 10, I found that the M1927 really struggles to keep up with the flow of zombies, and I was generally getting overwhelmed. This meant that an ideal run would have me building and flying the plane for the first time on round 5, and an acceptable run would have me building and flying the plane for the first time on round 6. While still possible with my wolf feeding strategy, flying the plane on round 5 required very good point management skills. These realizations did not discourage me, and I continued forward in my attempts. After 18 attempts, everything seemed to fall into place. The cell block wolf was fed on round 2, infirmary wolf on round 3, docks wolf round 4. Washing machine was completed on round 3, engine and tanks were ready on round 4, and the rigging was ready on round 5. This allowed me to take the plane for the first time on round 5, acquire the retriever on round 6, fly the plane for the second time on round 6 as well, acquire the spoon on round 7, and fly the plane again for the final time on round 7. Everything was primed for success, as I went down to input the numbers in the Citadel tunnels. However, after entering Afterlife mode, I realized that the numbers were not flickering like they were supposed to. As such, I ended the round, thinking that respawning the gas cans would fix this. It still didn't work. After activating yet another Afterlife mode, I finally realized that I still needed to obtain the Blundergat in order for this step to work. This left me with only 1 Afterlife to input all 4 of the 3-digit numbers, which I was unfortunately unable to do. As such, I had to end the round in order to get another Afterlife mode. This meant going into round 9, where the Warden was going to spawn. I was low on ammo, and this is what happened. No! What hit me? Yeah, that just hurt. Especially considering that was my first try of the day. It's really discouraging. However, I continued forward, determined to complete this challenge. 6 attempts later, I had another really good run. The cell block wolf was fed on round 2, the infirmary wolf was fed on round 3, the washing machine was completed on round 3, the docks wolf was fed on round 4, the engine and tanks were acquired on round 5, the rigging was acquired on round 6, the retriever was acquired on round 6, the first plane trip was done on round 6, the second plane trip was done on round 7, the Blundergat was acquired on round 8, and the spoon was acquired on round 8 as well. I was primed for the 3rd plane ride on round 8, and then this happened. Alright, let's go. Oh, if that zombie could hit me from there, I would be furious. Furious. Yeah, I would have been so pissed if he had hit me there. Fortunately, he did not, and I was able to get back to the prison without killing the last zombie. This allowed me to input all the numbers and begin listening to the audio logs all the way to the roof. Fortunately, I was able to do this without much issue. After 25 attempts, I finally beat the Mob of the Dead solo Easter egg without taking any damage whatsoever, without using the mystery box, without using perk machines, without using the pack punch machine, without using the Blundergat, and without using the silver spoon, with a final time of 40 minutes and 37 seconds. This was a really fun challenge to do, and I hope to do it on various other Treyarch Zombies maps. I'd love to see other people attempt these kind of challenges, or maybe even try to speedrun something like this. If you guys would like to check out the full run of my final attempt, I will have that video linked in the description. Thanks for sticking to the end of the video, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to let me know if you'd like to see me do more of these kind of challenges. If you'd like to watch me attempt these live, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/spknhn, so feel free to drop by and maybe give me a follow. Anyways, have a nice day, you guys. I'll see you in the next one.